I thought we should talk about today. This week I did this fast based on my cardiologist's recommendation, and so I just slowed my whole life down, like slower than I even knew I could move. It was really interesting. And so I was kind of doing a little longer meditation in the morning because things I might normally do I wasn't doing. And I found myself by day 2 having expectation. Do you ever have expectation of yourself in your practice? I was like, well, you're on this fast. You should probably have this like new information revealed to you. And I was like, where'd that come from? And I just started realizing how often I have expectation of who I'm going to be, who you're going to be, how the day is going to go, how my meditation's going to go. And it's a big trap in our personal and spiritual practices of meditation should look like this, asana should look like this, spirituality, yoga should look like this. And I just think spiritual traps, those kinds of traps are bullshit. And they're actually really a way to impede our way of being. Because for me, what our practice is always about is how am I doing showing up with whatever's showing up. But what happens is we have these preferences, right? Like my preference is I was going to have this big epiphany in my meditation this week. And my meditation was like, nope, there's no epiphanies here, at least none. And then I get into this like curious conversation with my like spirituality, like, are you like withholding because you want me to learn this? I'm like, oh my God, no one's thinking as hard as you're thinking right now. And so I just want us to be mindful that as we come in to unroll our mats and we sit for meditation and we move in our lives, we have these interesting habits of preferences. And there's nothing wrong with preferences. Like when I order a decaf Americano, I don't expect a bhakti chai almond milk latte. And I'm not like, oh, that's cool, I'll just have that, right? Like we have our preferences and there's nothing wrong with preferences. And we tend to cling, we tend to hold on to, we tend to judge if it's our preferred state or not. And now you see why we suffer. You get up and like your back's sore, your mind's racing, the sun isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing, it's colder than you thought, and you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And so in lies the beginning of friction. So much of our practice when we come to our mat is an unfurling, an unrolling, a letting go of our grasping, of our clinging, of our judging, of how it should all go based on our preferences. But if we all had our preferences, it would be really kooky and weird out there, right? And so I just feel like it's really useful when we can remember that so much of the suffering that really, really gets to us is, but I thought it was going to be like this. And then the universe is like, yeah, no, it's not. And then we go like, but, and we get all turned around, and it's hard for us to let go of how we wanted it and how we preferred it. So I want you to just notice today as you move, as you sit, of course have preferences. And when the universe and you are on the same page, acknowledge that victory. Yes, I'm having my preferred state right now. And when you don't, can you also say, oh rats, it's not my preferred state, rather than the drama and the suffering that some of us, at least I, can tend to kick up. So we're going to do that this morning.